Hi again. I'm back for another episode of my life. Same floppy bun, same gray hoodie. It's the same day, same car. I didn't plan on doing all these videos in my car, but the first one worked out so much better than when I tried to film it in my house, and I have some time to kill before I have to be at my next job. I clean houses. I think I mentioned that in my very first video. So I have some time before I'm due at my next house. So I figured I would go ahead and try to get this filmed now. Also, speaking of my first video, I kind of wanted I meant to mention it in my last video, because I know I said I started my journey in January, and if you're like, you said January, but your first video is from September, so what's up with that? I did originally want to start in September, actually, right around my birthday, the day before my birthday. That was like supposed to be my starting point, and it didn't happen. So, waiting for somebody to walk by so I don't look completely crazy. I am sitting in a parking lot. I'm about to run a couple errands before, again, heading to my next house. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about my reasons why I think I'm ready to finally lose weight for good. And while thinking of what I wanted to say in this video, I realized that I might take it to a place a little bit darker than I originally thought. Because I realized this whole thing with weight, my struggle with weight, the physical, what you see on the outside is not the problem. It is a symptom of the problem. The real problem, and I'm sure there are so many people out there who can relate to this, and if you've listened to other stories, you probably have heard something similar, that it starts inside. It starts with emotional and mental issues versus just a physical issue. So even before you get into having a reason why you want to change your life, you have to give a damn about yourself. You have to care. You have to feel like your goal, that or whatever you want to achieve, is worth the effort that it's going to take to get there, and that you yourself are worth that effort. And if you have issues, as I do, with really low self-esteem, really low self-worth, it's hard to even look in the mirror. You know, how can you look at this person and think, yes, this person is worthy of great things, when right now I don't feel worthy of anything. I don't feel worthy of love. I don't feel worthy of life. I don't feel worthy of existence in completion. So it's hard to be like, oh, well, I want to get, I want to lose weight for health reasons or for this reason or that reason, when even before that, you have to care about yourself to want to change yourself. So that is my real struggle. And that brings us to, I feel like there's so much more I wanted to say and could say on that subject, but of course, once I get in front of the camera, everything kind of just leaves my head. Well, the one thing I can say is that I've definitely have used my weight, or have felt that my weight is very much like a physical wall that I've built up around myself to protect myself, not only from interacting with other people, but from really knowing myself, my true self, who I really am. Right now, I can blame all the negative things I think about myself on my weight. and I do that, I can say, well, I think I'm ugly because I'm fat. If I wasn't fat, then I wouldn't be ugly. I think I hold myself back because I'm fat. I can't achieve my goals and my dreams because I'm fat. I couldn't finish school or go back to school because I feel too self-conscious about being fat. I can't get up and perform or be creative as an artist because I don't feel confident because I'm fat. I can blame all these things on being fat. And with this grand fantasy of I'm going to transform into this amazing, beautiful, intelligent, creative, talented person, if only I could lose the weight. But the reality of that is I'm terrified that I'm actually none of those things. Whether I'm fat or not, I'm none of those things. And I'm terrified that I'm going to strip all this away and I'm still not going to like who I am as a person. And I actually feel myself getting kind of emotional, which is weird. I didn't think I would, talking about this stuff, but it's absolutely true. It's a realization that I've come with thinking about it for so long, and with really trying to get down, deep down to the core issues. Sorry, I realize it's starting to get kind of dark. Let's see, is there a way? Maybe this. Sorry. That a little bit better. I realized it was kind of dark. When really thinking of getting to the core issue of why I've struggled to lose weight in the past. And I think that is a huge part of that struggle. Hold on, there's people walking by. Just a random person sitting here. No. See, I have no confidence in myself. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes. A huge part of why I kind of sabotage myself and why I keep holding myself back is because I'm really, really scared that underneath of it all, I'm just a terrible person. And I'm scared of what that means for me in the future. So how can you get over this? That is where I am now. How can you take the steps to improve your life when you feel you are not worthy of anything? How can you take steps to improve your life when you feel your life isn't worth it? It's really hard. It's a hard question to answer, and it's something that I think all you can do is figure it out as you go. So I'm sure you might have heard, because that makes sense. I'm sure you have heard the saying, fake it until you make it, and I think it applies to this situation as well. Every day you have to tell yourself that you are worth it. My mantra throughout the beginning of this journey has been telling myself, you are worth the effort. You are worth the effort. Even if you don't feel like it, and even if you don't think that's true, you have to have faith that someday you will feel it. You will feel that that is true. And you have to work towards being okay with yourself. So you are worth the effort. And whether that effort is, effort can be anything. It can be as small as getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, making breakfast, going to work. I did want to mention real quick, I don't know if I said this before, but I don't have any kids. So I can't relate, or I can't speak for somebody who does have kids. I can't really view it from that perspective. I can only view it from my own perspective. So obviously, if you have children or anybody else that their life and well-being depends on you, then obviously, or at least in my opinion, that makes it worth it. Your kids are definitely worth the effort. Even if you feel like you yourself are not, your kids are. But again, I don't have kids, so I'm not going to get into all that. Like I said, I can only tell the story from my perspective. Sorry. So if you feel that way, you have to tell yourself every day that you are worth the effort. Even if you don't feel it, you have to tell yourself that you are. And whether the effort is small or whether the effort is you're able to put in a little bit more effort and get a little bit further along, it doesn't matter. Effort is effort. I feel like I'm not making sense anymore. So that being said, all that little kind of peek into the darkness of my mind, let's get into some actual, real, solid reasons that I have found that, gosh, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's get into some reasons why I personally am fighting every day to make myself believe that I am worth the effort to change. Okay, so first of all, health. Health is kind of a big blanket issue that you can throw over anything when looking for a reason to lose weight. For me personally, I've always been kind of on the healthier side, even though I've always struggled with my weight. I've never had an issue with mobility. I was always fairly active. Obviously not an athlete, but I could run around and I could jog up a flight of stairs and be fine. And I never had any issues with my blood pressure, my cholesterol, or blood sugar. These are all things that have been checked within the past 2 years. So obviously things can change, but as far as I know and have known about myself, I've never had those kinds of issues, thankfully. So I do believe you can be healthy and be overweight or even quote unquote medically obese. But I also believe that that's not sustainable. I think eventually over time, especially as you get older, you're going to develop problems. For me, it started small with things started to hurt, and things never used to hurt before. My feet hurt. I developed plantar fasciitis, and actually both of my feet. My feet still, they're not quite as bad as they used to be, but they still hurt. My knees have started to bother me. My back constantly bothers me. And I do have an active job, so I understand that these things could be associated with just, I have a very physical job. I'm constantly lifting things, moving things, that sort of thing. Climbing up and down stairs and getting on the floor and scrubbing tubs and, all that kind of thing. But obviously, it's obvious to me that my weight is a huge factor in that and how bad I feel physically. Some of the bigger things are sleep apnea. I developed sleep apnea a couple years ago. Not a severe case. I forget how many times I did go through to a sleep study. That's how I was diagnosed. First of all, well, they give you a questionnaire, and if you answer yes to so many questions, then they're like, okay, it seems like you have sleep apnea, go for the sleep study, you want for the sleep study, blah, blah, blah. And yes, there were several times throughout the night that I stopped breathing, which is not good. Again, not a severe case. I forget how many times. There's a certain amount of times that you have to stop breathing in order for it to count, I guess. And I was just at or over that amount. So, not a severe case. I do have a CPAP machine. I don't wear it. I really should. But I have not yet found a mask that I like. Not going to get into all that right now because I just don't have the time. But I do have a CPAP. Don't wear it. The other thing, kind of physical thing I developed was a fatty liver. Again, not a severe case. Fortunately, at least it wasn't a couple years ago. Again, I haven't been to the doctor, so I definitely haven't gotten any better weight-wise and eating-wise, so I'm kind of afraid to find out if it's gotten worse. But again, it was just right over the limit. So it was more like, just keep an eye on this. We don't want to get this to get any worse, and it's more of an incentive to lose weight. And the third medical thing, which could be a category all in itself and will kind of bleed into the next category, is that I developed PCOS, which I know a lot of you have and can relate to. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I think it's also called something else, like PCOD, or it's disorder instead of syndrome or something like that. Anyway, it's all the same thing. I was diagnosed with that after experiencing pretty severe issues with my menstrual cycle, or lack thereof. And it took a while to get the diagnosis because I had internal and external, ultrasounds, and my ovaries were actually clear. There were no cysts at the time. And my doctor was like, well, maybe you don't have it, but you should go to a gynecologist. So I went to the gynecologist, and she said, no, I think you really do have it. And the thing that finally got me my diagnosis was through a blood test, and that my testosterone levels were elevated. I don't know to what extent. They didn't give me the exact number, but they were elevated. And because of that, and that's one of those like chicken or the egg type of things, I guess you could say, because some people say, oh, well, you're obese and that caused you to have PCOS, and then other people say, no, you probably had PCOS or hormonal issues, and that is why you put on weight and struggle to lose weight. I could see how both are true. Obviously, being so overweight is definitely not helping the situation. So again, that kind of leads me to my next issue, which is infertility. Because of the PCOS and other issues that I've had, I have not been able to get pregnant. And my doctor wants me to lose weight before moving forward with any other treatments. And again, I'm not going to go too far into detail with that. That could be a whole separate video. But that is definitely a huge incentive. Again, I don't feel like I'm worth the effort, but it's not fair to my husband, and it's not fair to just my future, my family. I want a family. I want to have a family. I want to have a kid. So that is, fighting for myself might not feel worth it, but fighting for my baby or to have a baby does feel worth it to me. So that's where I am with that. Other reasons being, again, I have a very physical job and I plan on working as long as I possibly can because I don't have any kind of retirement plan right now. That's a great thing to say when you're in your 30s. Um, so I want to stay as healthy as possible so that I can continue to work and my body doesn't break down on me as I get older. And another thing is just my lifestyle, and I want to enjoy life and I want to be able to do things. I actually sing with a chorus, a woman's chorus, and I take singing very seriously. It's something that I love to do and something that means a lot to me. And therefore, I want to be healthy enough to be able to do that. Not that you need to be, an athlete again to sing, but you do use your core muscles a lot, breath support and stability, being able to sustain notes and having enough breath and having the muscles to support, having good posture and just having mental clarity. All those things are important if you want to be the best singer that you could possibly be, which I want to be the best singer I can be. So I definitely being healthy and losing weight will help with that as well. So yeah, I think I'm going to end this video here. So hopefully, again, I do apologize for starting out kind of negative and in a sad place, but it's honest, it's the truth. And again, you have to care about yourself in order to want to change your life. You have to care and you have to feel like you're worth the effort. And if you're like me and you've struggled with these issues of self-esteem and self-worth, then we can figure it out together. And I'm rooting for you, I'm cheering for you, and I welcome your support as well. So in the next video, I think I'm going to go further into detail about how I'm actually going to accomplish these things and achieve these dreams, these goals. Wow, that sounded really lame. Achieve these dreams, achieve these goals. I'm going to go into that, what my action plan is. It's already in place and I'm already struggling. It's only been 1.5 weeks. So stay tuned for that. And then starting Monday, hopefully, fingers crossed, please, Amanda, get your shit together. I will have my week 1 and 2 recap. Week 1 was supposed to happen this week and it didn't. So the first and second weeks I'm going to have to combine into one recap. So I'll do my whole spiel of what I ate, any exercise I did, my weight, and all that fun stuff. So be sure to check back later and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.